Welcome back to Weather Nation. We're taking a look at what's happening with Hurricane Lane, a Category 3 hurricane, a major hurricane that's continuing to bring impacts to the Hawaiian Islands. We're talking about a system that has max winds at 120 miles per hour. So this is something that people there are taking very, very seriously.
And we're already getting reports of flooding, especially for the Big Island out there this morning. And that's going to be a big concern for folks going forward because more heavy rain is on the way on top of what's already fallen. So let's get you the latest on Lane. What we're tracking here this morning, currently a Category 3 hurricane, winds at 120 miles per hour, and that northward track pretty slow at about 8 miles per hour. Here's a look at some of our 24-hour rain totals. Now you can see for some of these northern islands, not a lot, but over the Big Island, you can see Hilo has picked up, at least at that reporting site, over 6 inches, almost 7 inches of rain, and other parts of the Big Island reporting totals close to or upwards of 2 feet. So there have been some heavy downpours, and those are expected to continue. Now, as this storm continues to make its track off to the north, most of the islands are under a hurricane warning. The Big Island now under a tropical storm warning. Really, no matter which way you cut it, we are going to be looking at heavy rain, strong winds. That's the main takeaway for all of the Hawaiian Islands today and on through the start of the weekend as this storm continues to make its track off to the north and eventually taking that turn and moving a little bit more westward by the time we head into Saturday morning. That's when we're expecting this to make its turn. Now, the latest updates have kept this cone of uncertainty just away from the island. So landfall right now, at least not looking like a threat, but it's so close to the islands that we are still going to be dealing with heavy rain and high surf. We have flash flood alerts out across the islands. The Big Island under a flash flood warning. The rest of the islands still under a watch, and I expect as this storm continues to track north, we will see those upgraded. Now, in addition to the heavy rain, we're also adding in the potential for high surf. We have high surf warnings out along the coast. You'll notice those highlighted in green. And that could bring surf up to 15, even 25 feet with the potential for storm surge between 1 and 3 feet. So we're going to be talking a little bit more about the impacts from the storm. And I want to show you some video. This is drone footage coming out of Hilo. Look at that flooding. We're expecting to see more scenes like this throughout the day. And Marcus, what are the main threats people can be concerned with as far as Lane goes?
Well, we're looking at one of them, flooding, and we see that in Hilo, Hawaii, that area picking up a lot of rain in the last 24 to 48 hours. And when we talk about the impacts, again, we're talking about heavy rain that can lead to landslides and blocked roads and flooding in general. We're also talking about, with wind, lightweight structural damage, so things that can be blown around pretty easily or blown around anytime the winds exceed 30 or 40 miles per hour. We're talking about those impacts being out there. Any things like garbage cans or any signage that's outside, those winds can impact all of that. And we're also talking about storm surge, especially for areas really on the western sides of some of the Hawaiian Islands where we have the water being pushed in those areas, in those directions. That will lead to a storm surge, and that could mean at least a minimal damage near the coast. Now, when we take a look at the Big Island, we're talking about tropical storm warning into Friday. We're talking about winds anywhere from 39 to about 57 miles per hour, but gusts as high as 65 miles per hour, and an additional 4 to 8 inches of rain, but potentially we could see even higher amounts of that. And we're also looking at the threat for some isolated tornadoes. When we look at Maui, we're talking about hurricane warning through Friday at least. Winds anywhere from 30 to 40 miles per hour, but gusts up to 60 miles per hour as well. And an additional 1 to 1.5 feet of rain is possible with storm surge up to 2 feet. When we take a look at Oahu, we're dealing with this hurricane warning that is in effect. Again, we're talking about winds anywhere from 40 to 50 miles per hour, but gusts up to 75 miles per hour, and potentially another 1.5 to 2 feet of rain when it's all said and done. And we're also talking about storm surge anywhere from 1 to 3 feet. And as we take a look at Kauai, we're talking about this hurricane watch staying in place until further notice, and we're talking about winds gusting up to 70 miles per hour. We have team coverage on this storm, and we'll be back telling you more about what you'll be dealing with. We'll also be talking about some of the other stories impacting the continental United States.